one choice. If you do not play by the rules, then you will die at any moment. Are you ready?
I am ready.
The first question: how and when will you stick that hot dog up your butt?
Oh, God.
That was just a little preview of the fun that we're going to have a little bit later on in this episode with Sam Tripoli. Love Sam, known him for years. We got into a lot of Comedy Store talk, a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of talk about Mitzi Shore, the great Mitzi Shore, who unfortunately passed away earlier this week. And he tells his journey at the Comedy Store, and it's a pretty cool story of how he developed there over the years. We will get into that very soon. A lot of people have been asking me about Pat Reagan. What's his status with Kill Tony? What's going on? So I sat down with Pat and asked him exactly what was on your guys' mind. My boy, Patty Reagan. A lot of people have been hitting me up asking me the question that I'm about to ask you. I wanted to get it from you directly. Why did Pat Reagan leave Kill Tony?
Well, thank you for asking, Jeremiah. I left because I just needed to go do something else. I've been doing it for 3 years, and I just had a growing feeling inside me that I wanted to sort of do my own thing. And I'm grateful to Tony and Red Band and you and Joel and Josh Martin and Ryan J. Ebeld and frickin' Rick Cossack and Wee Man and frickin' Leela Hart and Ali Makovsky and everybody. I met so many cool people. Had a lot of cool experiences. Had a lot of experiences that I'm sure made other people cringe, but made me cringe even harder inside. and I'm out. Thanks.
So there you go. Pat Reagan is no longer on Kill Tony, but he's doing the warm-up. There's no ill will or anything between him or the show. We love Pat. He loves everybody on the show, as he clearly just stated, and that doesn't affect anything that's going on with Reagan and Watkins. We actually have been recording our album up in Ventura over the weekend. We're so excited to share that with you. We got some music videos coming down the pipe here within the next couple months, and just looking forward to getting that out there. We've been working so hard. Part of the reason why this intro is going to be a little bit shorter today is because I'm recording this in advance because we're recording all weekend up in Ventura. So it's going to be a little bit shorter. But I did want to say thank you to the sponsors of the show, Bronx Born Pizza. Video will be coming soon. I promise. We're getting so close to that. It's been swamped with a lot of stuff going on, but a beta will be coming of that very soon. So check out Bronx Born Pizza in Bend, Oregon. Amazing pizza. I've had the recipe here in Santa Monica over at Gray Block, and it's amazing. They've got like bagel crust pizza and a lot of good stuff. Speedweed, my buddy Gino over there, marijuana delivery service. Get your fix at Route 66 with Gino. Yeah, over at Speedweed. Hit him up on Twitter. And also, Adrian Chavez sent me in a song from his band Life Eats Life titled I Wish It Was You, and I'm going to play that while I read these dates. I'm going to be at Moon Tower April 19th through 21st. Going to be in Utah, Salt Lake City with Tony Hinchcliffe, the Golden Pony, at the end of the month, 27th, 28th. Get your tickets to that. And also, Sam Tripoli, June 1st, the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Eddie Bravo as his guest will be at Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco. Go to cobbscomedyclub.com to get tickets to Sam's live podcast. It'll be great. And also, email me at yourboyjeremiahwatkins@gmail.com with any kindness challenge updates and any music that you want to try to get on the show. I'll do my best trying to make this as much of a group effort as possible. And my friend Zoltan at The Art of Getting Up on Instagram, he does all the artwork and posters for the show. I've been looking for a car. Very quickly, I'll tell you this weird story that happened. I was about to buy a Prius from this guy. Got sold out from underneath me. He said, but I have another Prius. Come see it tomorrow. And I had already test driven this other one. I was like, okay, I'll come again tomorrow, test drive another Prius. I pull up there, and I call. He's like, I can't show it to you, but my dad will. This Russian man pulls up. It's a brand new Toyota Camry. And he gets out. I shake his hand. I'm like, hey, I'm here to see the car. He's like, great. Okay. Yes. One moment. He goes to his trunk, pulls out a bag. A Russian lady comes out from her house. He gives her the bag. They start talking in Russian. She goes back inside the house. The guy gets back in his car without telling me, and he drives away. I call him. I'm like, hey, are you going to get the Prius? Like, yes, it'll be there in a couple moments. Be there. A different Russian guy pulls up with the Prius. I go and test drive it, and the car is actually really nice. It has low mileage, 85,000 miles. It's, somewhat in my price range where I'm like, I can scramble to get the money together. I go to the bank. I'm happy with the car. I'm going to get the car. But I call the guy who listed it one more time. I had a couple more questions for him, and my gut was like, Jeremiah, don't buy this car, okay? And I was like, last question, do you have a Carfax report for this car? And he goes, no, I don't. I spent $40 on getting a Carfax report. I look up. On the odometer, it read 85,000 some odd miles. I look on Carfax, 270,000 miles, dated in 2017 of January. So I call him back, and I hit him up. I'm like, dude, I just got the Carfax. There's 270,000 miles on this car. And he swears that he didn't know, that he feels like he got ripped off from the guy that he bought it from. I think something's fishy going on. I think something is going on with the Russian mafia. I don't know what is going on, but crazy stuff. I kind of want to report them to the police because it's huge fraud, a huge crime to dial back an odometer on cars and sell it to people. I also don't want to get a hit on me from the Russian mob. Not sure what to do. Did a poll on Twitter. 80% of people said yes, report them. 20% said no. I still don't know what to do. I've been very busy. I have not called the cops yet. I don't know if I should. What do you guys think? Tweet at me or hit me up on Instagram at Jeremiah Standup. This is a super fun episode, and let's just get right into it. Without further ado, my friend, Sam Tripoli. Today is kind of a weird day in comedy, man. For those of you who don't know, Mitzi Shore, the founder of the Comedy Store, the talent curator, and so much more. She passed away this morning, and it's definitely a weird energy to know that she's like, in a sense, no longer with us, like here. But
I don't know what it was like in your show, because you had two shows in the Belly Room, pretty much, like your show, and then it was followed by the roast battle, right?
Yeah.
There was a definite weird vibe in the main room. It was jumping, people were laughing, but there was something missing from it. And even my girlfriend was like, "There's just something weird in this room. There's just something weird." She's like, "It's packed. Everybody's killing. And there's just something weird." So we ended the show with a "We love you, Mitzi." At the end of the show, and then this morning I woke up to that thing. This is only the third time in the history of the Comedy Store that it is now closed. The first time was after 9/11, and then obviously the incident that happened on the patio, and then finally the passing of the Queen, who I don't know if we'll ever see anybody like that again.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
she's a rare bird because she never did stand up, but she understood stand up.
Which I thought was almost more important that she didn't do it.
Right.
Because it's like she has the outsider's perspective, but she's around it so much, and she had such the eye for talent that she really knew how to groom people and have a completely objective opinion on everything.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think she wasn't 100% right all the time, every time, but she really, really molded what we know stand-up comedy is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for the longest time, and still to this day, the Comedy Store is the basically the only thing that I think Los Angeles comedy can rest its hat on. I mean, there's obviously the underground Upright Citizens Brigade, but that's at a certain time. But in terms of like, it's either New York City comedy or Comedy Store, in my opinion. It's like that's kind of where it's at in terms of like this kind of showing love and respect to the art form. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion.
Were you passed by Mitzi herself?
I was passed by Mitzi. It's a very interesting story. About a year before 9/11, Mitzi Shore says that for some reason she believes that Arab comics are going to need a voice. The community is going to need a voice, and they're going to have somebody who voices their opinion because they're going to be. It's just this weird like foreshadowing she had. So I get a call from Duncan Trussell, and Duncan's like, Sam, I think Duncan and Maz Jabrani, who is a G. Is like, I think we can get you into the store, because I showcased like 4 or 5 times for him. In terms of the amount of showcases in front of Mitzi's, that was nothing compared to like Ari Shafir's, which was like 38 times.
Yeah.
You hear some kids are like, I showcased 3 times. It's like, dude, you don't even know. It was like so crazy. So I literally got standing O's in one of my showcases. To the staff was like chasing me out. I'm like, dude, you crush. And she's like, nope. They made a new category for me, which was called Showcase Regular, which meant I could showcase anytime I wanted if I had like industry there or anything. So what happens? I get a call from Doug. He's like, Sam, are you Middle Eastern? I'm like, I'm Armenian. He's like, close enough. He goes, I think I can get you in. So here was the rules to showcase in the Mitzi. It was, they would basically go, Duncan goes, here's the key. You do one joke about your ethnic group, one joke about either one of your parents, and then you do your favorite bit. So I had a joke about being Armenian, going to the beach, taking a shirt off, babies start crying. It's like, this is way early in the game. And then I had a bit about my mom power walking. And then I had this bit in which Joey Diaz said to me, he goes, it was this bit about Asians on ecstasy and about how their like visuals are so much better than everybody else's because they're so much smarter. They're like high def Dolby Digital sound while everybody else is like 8-bit Atari, right? And Joey's like, dude, that bit is so good, bro. That's a fucking great bit. So I went with that bit. So the whole thing about showcasing for Mitzi at the time was that you were always worried about, it was so hard because people would try to hijack your showcase, meaning because they only knew that was that one time for them to get spots. So they would swoop in and talk to her, trying to get in her favor again to get spots again. So the key was just like you prayed that nobody was sitting next to her. Well, I look out, and who's sitting next to her is Paul Mooney. Well, a month earlier, Paul Mooney, I'd been doing I did a gig before everything, before the roast battle, I don't know, it was even before the roast battle, but even before whatever it was before the roast battle, there was a show called Dublin's. And it was like the greatest comedy show of all time. It was like, it was the first time in the history of Hollywood that I could remember that all the comics from all the clubs came together, because when I first moved here, you could only play one. The improv would let you play
Yeah.
But Mitzi Shore wouldn't. The Laugh Factory, you weren't supposed to go back and forth. So each club had its own comedians, and this was the first time that they had come together under one roof to do stand up. And so before that, there was this thing called the Hustler Cafe. Had a big comedy show ran by Johnny Montana. And it was like this actor who just seemed coked out of his skull all the time. But he's really funny. He put together this huge show. So I was doing stand-up about how hard it was to be a white guy. And I get off stage, and Paul Mooney runs up to me. He's like, oh, homie, you ain't white. You's a Armenian. You's a boom. And he drops an N-bomb on me, right?
Yeah.
which is this weird thing coming from the guy who's basically copyrighted the N word.
Yeah, it's kind of an honor.
It's kind of an honor. So it's
Yeah.
this weird thing. But at the time, I didn't know if he liked me or not. So I'm showcasing.
You're like, is this the good one or the bad one?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Right, totally. So I'm doing look out who's sitting next to her is Paul Mooney. So I don't know how to take it. I'm just like, okay, whatever, just go for blood. So I get off stage, and it turns out Paul Mooney at the time was, and he's, we're still cool, was a big fan of mine. And he told Mitzi, oh, Mitzi, you got to pick this kid up. He's really funny. He's really funny. So he actually helped me basically become a regular. So I get off stage, and I walk up to Mitzi, and I'm like, hey, Mitzi, how's it going? She's like, oh, Sam, you're so funny. Are you Syrian? And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know what a Syrian was at that time. I mean, I'm public educated upstate New York. I had no clue what it was, but I was like, yeah, I'm totally Syrian. She's like, good. I want you to showcase again for in Jay Davis's show on Thursday night. So Thursday night comes, it's me, Aaron Cater, Ahmed are all showcasing. Maz Jobrani is such a G. He wants to get our friend Brett Ernst in.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of the time, it was me, Brett, Sebastian Maniscalco, and Maz Jobrani were the four horsemen, right? And so Maz hides, so they can't find him. They're like, Mitzi, we can't find him. Can we put this other funny guy up, Brett Ernst?
Wow.
So Brett Ernst goes up, crushes. So that night, Ahmed, Aaron Cater, myself, and Brett Ernst all got made regulars on the same night. So the next day, I get called, and Mitzi's from Duncan's like, Sam, Mitzi's going to do something she's only done one other time. She's going to make your first paid spot, your first regular paid spot, a main room spot. The only other person she's ever done that for is Roseanne Barr. So I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. So
yeah, this is epic.
So I show up, and so I'm going on after a guy named Charles Fleischer, who hasn't been there for a while, but
I've opened for him before.
Yeah.
At the John Lovitz Club back in the day.
back in the day,
Back in
dude.
the day, man.
So, but this time he was like, it was the beginning of this kind of thing where he went on where he wanted to let everybody know he was one of the greats. So he's
the
doing
voice of Roger Rabbit for the people who don't know or recognize that name.
which is a weird thing. They've never remade that movie.
Yeah. Maybe it's coming, but who knows? Yeah. Or maybe it's just one of those where they're like, we can never remake something like this.
It's still like there's a couple movies like that. But anyways, he would go up and he has this kind of like with all crowd work people, there's like it's like coming off the top of your head, but it's always been said they've said it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So he's crushing. I didn't know who he was. So he brings me up and I go up on stage and I bomb for 15 minutes. Like I eat it for 15 minutes. But
what do you think it was that night that they caught? Do you think it was nerves? Because it was like obviously stuff that you'd been doing a lot at the time.
Well, I was a street kid. I hadn't really done a lot of stand up in clubs at that time.
Gotcha.
And I was a bar comic out of Vegas.
So you were going pretty hard in the paint,
Hard in the
and they're
paint.
like, dude, whoa.
And you see a lot of dark comedy now, but that's because the internet's kind of brought people out to that.
Yeah.
Back then, it was like everybody wanted Seinfeld. So I bombed for 15 minutes, and the next day I get a call, and they're like, Mincy, why don't you go up again in the main room? And that's when I realized that she was different, and the comedy club scene was, this club was different, and it wasn't about killing with her, and it was always about just, are you working on something? Work through it. Whatever you're uncomfortable with, you got to sit in that and get through that. And that's really what it was for her. If you complained about following somebody to her, you would follow her you would follow that person 1,000 times out of 1,000 times. Like that was her thing. And it kind of changed over time. And that kind of aspect of it's gone, but it was an amazing time.
Wow, man. That's such a cool story. So many. How cool is that of Maz Jobrani to do something like that?
There's a lot of people who have made it. I've seen a lot of people blow up, and very few of them have not changed at all. He's not changed. He is the exact same dude. And you knew Maz was going to blow up back in the day, and he's always been the nicest guy. Not that anyone's not nice or they're blah, blah, blah. It's just like, but he is literally the same guy I met day one. And he's the nicest dude. And like, yeah. So those four of us, and we all used to go down together to La Jolla, and we'd all rotate. Like, it was me, Maz, Brett Ernst, and Sebastian, and we would all rotate on who closed it, who opened it, all that stuff.
Who was the hardest to follow for you specifically?
Well, back in the day, Caparula was, when he first came on, he was unfollowable. He was a destroyer.
Dude, I remember whenever he used to get those back-to-back 15-minute spots that would be a half an hour in the middle of the show.
Yes. That was my biggest problem with how Tommy ran it. And I'm not necessarily, I hope they invite Tommy back when they say goodbye.
That was one of the first things I thought of, actually, because I was like, that's a guy who like truly loved her. And
there's a lot of people. I know that it took you a while to get in, and you have every right to be upset. And Earl and Jason Tebow and a lot of these guys that he never let through. But when I see this guy running these shows in these weird places, I just see a guy who's lost, and like his identity was taken from him, and he deserved it, man. It's like you just can't be in there forever. But I would like to see in some weird, more than anybody that's ever left that place. I think that guy needs to be allowed back in a weird, in a way, just to let him move on with his life or something like that. But he should most definitely be allowed to say goodbye to Mitzi.
Yeah.
And as much as we hate him, his problem was he allowed comics to get bigger than the club. That was my biggest thing. There were people picking where they went and all that stuff. Now, dude, the club is the thing, and everybody, and even with me right now, my times at the store are kind of gone down, and that was kind of hurtful at first. But then I realized that everybody goes away. Everybody goes away at a point. You have to go away a little bit, and then you come back. And it's just like I saw with Joe Rogan, Joey D. I mean, monsters. Guys who are on every. They weren't there for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And it just kept going. It wasn't as good as it is now, but it just keeps going.
Yeah.
So you got to go and you got to come back.
So, dude, you're one of those people that I have to tell you that I've looked up to for a long time, because whenever I think of somebody who is like funny and who hustles in comedy, you're one of the guys who I think of. You're always like producing cool shows, like you got your hands in different podcasts and different stuff going on. Were you always like that starting off with comedy, or is that something that you had to grow and evolve into like later on?
It's so interesting because My parents didn't give me a lot. They gave me two things: a work ethic and a sense of humor, And I just saw my dad work 90 jobs. So when I move out to Las Vegas, you always hear, no matter where you are in the country, you always hear New York City, dude, they go up like 27 times a night, dude. They're up a million times. They're never getting off stage. You're like, fuck, that must be what comedy's about. So when I started comedy in Las Vegas, there was one open mic every other week. So there was 3 comedy clubs, and they wouldn't put any locals up. So we had to make our own thing. So I literally went every night in that town. I went and found a bar that had a stage. I go, what's your dead night? And I had a show every night. And now that was putting out like flyers.
Yeah.
There was no internet. There was no nothing. So when I peaked in Vegas, I had my own improv troupe in 4 casinos. I had my own stand-up show on the Vegas Strip, and I was opening for different people at the Riviera, which was booked by Steve Sciarippa from The Sopranos. So when I got to that point, I'm like, I've done all I can here. I have to go to L.A. And so I went to L.A., and then I've always booked my own shit, always. It's so interesting. And now I'm just like, after 20 years into this, it's like, I'm not saying every show sells out. I've had a couple at the dojo that have been weird, but for the most part, I can pack them out. And I've been blessed to see the store go from we were doing naughty shows in that main room to 200 in the middle. And they're like, where is everybody? I'm like, dude, this is all we can do. And now it's I just did the Comedy Chaos, and it's 15th sold out show.
Dude, congrats. That's awesome.
And you, dude, I've always been watching you. You're a hustler, dude. You've found a niche in 3 huge shows, and that's setting stuff up for some really amazing shit to happen for you because you're in this thing. You've created your own niche. You know, when you got picked up at the Comedy Store, I was like, oh, it's going to be very interesting to watch how you develop. I go, it's going to be fun to watch because the style that you had, which was like these characters, and, you know, how you're going to adapt to how the Comedy Store style is, which is this magical thing, learning in the OR. So you're going to be able to take a little what you like and a little what the store teaches you and blend them together. So in this weird way, it's almost like you could go from being a one-man show to being a late night comic at the same time. And it's been fun to really watch. Because if you sit there and it will break you, that room. And that's what it does.
It's broken me so many times. But that's what makes us better.
And that's why you grow. You're like, okay, this isn't working. I've watched it with a lot of people. You know, I've watched that room. I mean, Court McCowan, Theo Vaughn.
It's really cool to see what's going on with Theo right now.
It's just like, dude, like Sebastian. I used to watch Sebastian back in the day when there was like, I'm not lying to you. Everybody thinks like the Comedy Store is like this place of like packed house, and it is now. It wasn't like that before. Dude, I mean, even before Tommy Foley took over, Sebastian was doing like, there were like 15, 20 people in the OR. Sebastian would run from his job where he's waiting tables, take his lunch break, run to the Comedy Store, do his stand-up in his like work gear, and then run back and do stand-up, run back and wait tables at the hotel he was at.
Dude. Man. It's so crazy. And I mean, to see where he's at now, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld.
15th on the all-time on the grossing comics.
Yeah.
And we used to switch back and forth. We used to go on the road where we would go back and forth on who headlined, and whoever went second, the second half of their act would just tank because they were so tired from laughing. Like it was like
weird.
It was like 45 minutes of murder followed by 45 minutes of a guy killing. So the last 30 was just like, oh,
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I can't laugh anymore.
Would you tailor your set to start doing like more story-based stuff or anything slower paced, like whenever you would do that, or would you just keep trying to kill as hard as you could?
It was just me, kill. I've been slowing down a lot. It's so funny. I'm like 23 years in, and like I'm still learning stuff. When I shot my special at the Viper Room, man, I went super slow. You know, so I've done it before when I'm super slow. It's like boom, boom, boom. The problem is I've always wanted to be a cult leader, so I end up doing this fire and brimstone shit on stage, and it's a little too quick because I want the pow, 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 pow shit, but it's slowing down. But it's been fun to watch Sebastian. Sebastian knew who he was right from the gate, dude, right from the gate. Now, it wasn't hitting, but when it hit, it destroyed.
Yeah.
Same thing with Theo Vaughn. Like that, I remember seeing Theo back there going, and now it's like, I've seen sets where it's like, oh, man, why am I doing comedy?
I think we might have a cult leader that's calling into the show right now. I think he's patching in. Hello?
Hello? Is this Sam Tripoli?
Yeah. Who is this?
This is your one and fearless leader, Zycon.
Zycon! Oh my God, dude, growing up, I loved Zycon. Zycon was kind of what I based my comedy around.
Bow before your leader, Zycon.
I'm on my knees. I might not get back up.
Good, stay there.
Oh, Jesus, this got uncomfortable.
Listen, Sam, I need you to do something very important for me.
What, Zycon? Anything you need.
I need you to start a subsidiary group of my cult.
Like an LA-based one?
An LA-based one, yes.
Okay. What union number would this be?
159724.
157924. Let me write this down real quick because I'm going to forget that.
Okay, yeah, sure.
115
9724.
9725.
Now, in this cult,
44444.
Before we proceed, do you agree with all of what I am about to say?
Okay. Well, you know, since I've been following you for a while, I will agree to it, even though I know I will regret this.
Okay. First initiation of the cult.
Yes.
Sticking a hot dog up your butt, reverse Kobayashi style.
Okay, I'm not against it. I'll think about it for sure for you.
It must be done.
Okay.
The internet is going crazy.
Is there a time period on this?
Yes,
Okay.
in the next 30 seconds.
Okay. I don't see any hot dogs here.
We lost Zycon. I don't know
Oh,
where
Jesus.
he went, dude.
I can't believe Zycon listens to my podcast.
Dude, what is going on with the hot dog thing? The amount of tweets that I got whenever I was like, hey, like send me your questions for Sam. So let's explain to the listeners who are not aware of the bet that happened on Punch Drunk.
I am on a show called Punch Drunk Sports. It is a 7-year-old podcast. We've been doing it forever. Our viewership is very passionate. It's myself, Ari Shafir, and Jason Tebow. We have Johnny Woodard is our like tech guy, and then we have the fight nanny who is having a baby any day now. So that's our show. We talk sports, and we decided to start doing a bag of bets. And
I love the idea behind the bag of bets,
well,
by the
it
way.
started out as a fun idea, and then you're 7 years into it. And it's like loser has to have sex with his mother. I'm like, I don't want to do any of that.
What are some of the weird bets that you guys have had to do for people who are not familiar with the bag of bets?
I had to watch 2 hours of hardcore gay pornography on ecstasy and boner pills. So I had to watch that.
What was that experience like? Because, you know, as a straight guy, I'm sure that you haven't purposely tried to stumble upon that.
Well, I mean, if you watch enough porn, you end up going down some slippery slopes. So, I mean, like, I used to do a lot of coke and watch a lot of porn, and then eventually you stop watching. Like, when you're 5 hours into a porn run and you're hearing what I call the coke birds chirping to let you know yeah, which is just like, you fucked your life up. You're still up. You're doing coke. What are you doing? Like, you stop watching porn for the sex. You start watching for the cinematography. You're like, hey man, does this guy understand the art in which he's filming?
Yeah.
And then it just starts getting weird. So eventually you start looking at some weird shit, and I'll tell you that right now.
That's a great swish pan right there
Yeah, oh,
on
wow.
that shot. Wow.
Over under they call it. That was a classic. And,
Yeah, can we get a down shot? No pun intended on this next
100%.
close
So
up.
eventually you're gonna watch some trans shit, some weird shit, and it is what it is at some point. So watching that was just like, it was, and it made it worse. We allowed the fans to pick the porno, so I never got any plot. There was no plot in it. I couldn't like, why is the gardener in the bedroom naked? It was just like straight to like, you know, Las Vegas fountain shot, bang, 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 cut to all just, you know. So it was rough.
I think we're getting another phone call actually. Cokehead Sam is calling into the show right now. Hello, Cokehead Sam?
Hey, man, what's up, dude?
Hey.
Dude, I just got a new badge on Pornhub, dude. Yeah, I've watched so much porn now. I've just found out I'm a level 87 dick wizard.
A level 87 dick wizard.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, I use my powers for good or evil. I think my heart's about to explode.
Wow, Cokehead Sam, maybe you should consider stop doing coke.
Why? It's so much fun. I'm just learning so much about the art of pornography, the cinematography, all the amazingness. It's all about lighting and craft services.
Cokehead Sam, sorry to interrupt, but how long have you been doing
I
coke?
just had a heart attack. Got to keep going now.
How long have you been doing coke, Cokehead Sam?
3 days.
I mean, that's an impressive stint, like right
you.
away. But like even longer than that, when did you start doing coke?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
I've been doing coke the whole time.
Wait, what?
Back in the 80s, they thought coke helped calm the kids down. Everybody was doing it. They throw coke on your apples, on your Lunchables. You ever have a Lunchable with it has ham, crackers, and napalm coke on the side?
A razor blade and an ID?
Yeah, I did. Oh, I just had another heart attack. That's it.
Whoa, are you okay? You
No,
keep
I'm
having these heart
dying.
attacks.
I'm dying of how great this porn is.
No.
Wow,
Wait,
that chick's got a dick.
wait, you're still looking at porn while you're calling into the
Well,
show?
Yeah, it was called multitasking.
Is that your only hobby that you have?
Yeah, it pays the bills. I get paid in Bitcoin
You get paid in Bitcoin?
and Groupon.
Well, that doesn't sound like a good combination at all.
I just got Groupon for 3 transsexual hookers on San Monica Boulevard.
Cokehead Sam.
Hey, I think that's the cops at the door.
Okay.
I gotta go.
Okay, we just lost Cokehead Sam. I don't know.
Cokehead Sam.
Dude,
what a great guy he was.
Man, I don't know if you were listening to the conversation that I was having with
No, I was
Cokehead
using
Sam.
the bathroom. What
yeah,
happened?
Yeah, you step in. But he was making me feel like I was on cocaine. I started talking faster just listening to him.
Trying to keep up with him.
That's crazy, man.
He's got plans, dude. He's got a lot of plans, business plans. Something about fucking Groupon and tranny hookers he's always talking about. When did you start hanging out at the store?
Oh, so I started hanging out at the store like where I would say like religiously, where it was like every week, most days of the week. That was in the summer 2011, July 2011.
That was still fun years there. I mean, it's interesting because it's jumping so much right now. So that's a fun time too. But there's also these very dark times that was a lot of fun at the store too.
I went to the for the first time to the to Potluck in 2010, and I was like, it was too much for me. I was like, I need to build up material. I'm not ready yet. Like I could feel, when you walk those halls for the first time and you're looking at all the headshots and you see all the names on the walls and everything, it was literally like, I do not want to disrespect this place.
Yes, I get that.
Like I went away and I kept chipping away at open mics and built up material so I could come back and have a lot of material.
Well, you definitely work hard, dude. You do. I see a lot of people, even when I was there, that would just like thought hanging out at the store is putting in time and working on your art, and it's like it's not.
Yeah.
It is like go there, watch the masters, then get out.
Yeah, what I would do is I would always do open mics every night of the week, but then I would go there after when there's no open mics to do anymore. That's when you go and watch at the store.
Right.
And that's when you see different people handle late night, and then like how everybody's approach is super different, and that's I feel like where you can learn so much.
I don't know if some I'm gonna enjoy watching Jack Knight grow.
Sure.
Because that kid's got like mainstream appeal. He's already in love. The industry already loves him. But for some reason, he's getting super late night spots. And he probably hates them. But I think they're great for him.
Sure.
I think those late night spots, I think people don't realize, especially now where it's like all you hear people do is complain about how like everybody's just going for blood constantly. Like it's all murder sets. Like it used to be a great play. Like Whitney complains about all the time. Like you can't work on new shit unless you're Rogan, which is like he's just an 800-pound gorilla. He can do whatever he wants to. He could bomb and no one's gonna ever say anything. It's hard to work on shit, and that's why I started the dojo down the street just as a place to work out new material, man.
I think that venue has a lot of potential.
It's going to, it's a process. You're literally starting something from nothing, but it is about getting like young comics like yourself, people who are established, a place to go work out shit, work on new stuff, kind of get the benefit that I had because when Mitzi picked up myself, Brett Ernst, Maz Jabrani, and Sebastian, and Ahmed, like she is like this amazing thing. She just cleaned out all the 80s, and seeing people that I started with get cleaned out at the Comedy Store, now I look back at that and like how heartbroken some people might have been, but it was this really amazing moment where she's like, okay, we got to make room for this. And literally she gutted the middle of the lineup. So it was like almost every night. It was me, Maz, and Ahmed and Aaron almost every night.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like, we were going down to La Jolla every other month. And it was like this amazing thing. And, something like that can't last forever because nobody wants to see the same people over and over again. And then I worked really hard to get some big names, the guys who I thought were killers out there, get them into the lineup because I figured out how to do it. I would sit next to Mitzi and make sure that people couldn't get in the air, like Callan, all these really great, John Reap, all these great comics I helped get in. But then I got pushed to the end of the lineup. But then it's like, I always use it just to, to learn and write and stuff. And now I'm starting a new hour after I shot my old one, hour from scratch.
That's got to be scary, right?
It is, man. But,
kind of exciting too, I'm sure, though.
Well, it is because I've grown as a person.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be interesting. Every every hour or album, I try to work on something different to expand what I'm doing. Like, the Diabolical, which was my last album. I wanted to learn how to tell stories. So I worked on storytelling, which is its own weird, crazy thing. Like,
So different from joke writing.
it's completely different. And then before that, it was all about how much can I tag the crap out of this bit, joke writing bit, tag. So it's like it goes forever because I feel like tags and callbacks are the sign of like really great comics.
Yeah.
So this one, this new thing we'll work on is like I'm fascinated with black comedy, and it sounds really weird, but when I watch Tony Rock or I watch like Earthquake, like their ability to take these little things that we all see and just make them into this magnificent, like this like 5 to 10 minute bit that's so original. And you're like, if you can actually break it on down, Sebastian does this a lot. Jim Jeffries does a lot. These little things that we all like, if you actually wrote them down what the premise was, you'd be like, oh, I've heard that premise before. But it's like their ability to just expand on it.
Yeah.
And it's still relatable to everybody.
Find the nuances and really explore that, and then just like keep digging.
That's
and then
really
you're just like, whoa, I never looked at this like that before, and it's been right in front of me.
Yeah, so that's really what I want to do. Like I'm always going to talk about weird shit.
You said you're in an improv group in Vegas.
Yeah, they were called the Mutiny.
The Mutiny?
Yeah, it was a very interesting thing because we were part of this.
Sounds like a more of a hardcore improv group than most of the other names that are they're like, we're Butterfly Kisses. Can we get a suggestion? And you're like, we're the Mutiny.
The reason we were called
Give us a suggestion or die.
Yeah. Well, this guy Elliot had started the Mutiny. Started this improv troupe, and we found out he was keeping all the money. It was like this big thing. He was keeping all the money. So we were all just like, we should start our own. So the funniest guys got together and they were just like, let's start. What should we call ourselves? We should call ourselves a Mutiny. So once we went on our own, Elliot just folded his thing and we never heard from him again. So we started in all the station casinos, the Fratellas who used to own the UFC. They own some casinos called the Station, Boulder Station, Palace Station, Sunset Station. We got Sunset Station. Then we started doing a bunch of other ones, and we had like 4 improv shows a week, and then I had a bunch of stand-up going on. So yeah, so I just found out like about 3 years ago that the Mutiny had actually kept going, and they just dissolved like 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, we started the Mutiny in like 93.
That's crazy,
It
dude.
is crazy, dude. It's like
That's a long time.
Yeah, and I would love to go back, and I love doing improv. I have too much of a stand-up mentality where I'm always talking in punchlines.
Yeah, well, it's hard because, whenever you're doing truly proper improv, you're not going after the joke, and we get so trained to go for the joke.
Yes,
that
for sure.
It might be hard. I haven't done like scene improv or with a team here in a little bit, but yeah, it might be different.
It's like if you say something funny, like, oh, dude, you're just cheap. You're doing it cheap.
I think Elliot might be calling in right now. Hello, Elliot? Is this you?
Samuel, why did you leave me? You destroyed our empire. You've ruined it. We had the greatest improv troupe in Las Vegas, and you destroyed it.
Well, I think, Sam, if I recall, he had just said that you were kind of embezzling money from the group, Elliot.
Not true. Oh, I broke the rules of improv. Yes, and I was. I was in fact embezzling all of it. I was going to use it on better uniforms and props.
Oh, so you were doing it for the right,
and I was.
for the right reasons.
Yes, of course. See, Samuel, how easy it is? How easy. Why, Sam? Why'd you have to ruin what we had going? I now work at an oil changing station. Do you understand how bad the improv is? At Jiffy Lube. Nobody knows.
So now that you work at Jiffy Lube, Elliot, I was wondering, I know you're probably not supposed to do this, but could you give me like a 50% discount on this oil change?
Yes! And some free filters. I hate it when you go there. They're like, hey, you need this filter fixed. You're like, I don't know if you're lying to me, but I'll do it anyways. So you get the filter. I'll throw the filter in for free. Scene.
Elliot just left. I don't know if he.
He's so theatrical, dude.
Wow.
He's so theatrical.
Man.
Same Elliot, though.
Dude,
Same Elliot.
I love the idea of somebody who's an improviser who moves on into the rest of their life and they can't not say yes and with everything. I mean, I guess it's kind of somewhat of the premise of Yes Man
That's
with Jim
just how
Carrey.
it goes, man.
But just like just asking rather like about more like criminal activity or something is so funny. Like there's like that voice modulator that.
So
that's
where are
on
you
them.
from?
Like, I'm from Kansas.
Like how, like it's so amazing where we live. I mean, like it's so funny. I've had some people visit me, like Kevin Brennan, who is Neil Brennan's brother, was just on my podcast yesterday. And I have a buddy of mine out of Canada that's here, and they just shit on LA the whole time. And it's like outside
Why?
of traffic, I love it here. I love it here.
Yeah.
I think if there's things that drive you crazy in Los Angeles, there's so much opportunity that you can just build something else and you never have to deal with that.
I love LA.
I do too. Random guy?
How did that guy just patch into the show?
I don't even know.
Do you know how much I love LA, Sam?
I don't know. How much do you love LA, random guy?
Man, I love it so much. You know how much I love LA, Sam?
How much do you love LA?
Man, I love it so much that I could live here forever in my beach house. I don't care about the traffic. I don't care about the sun damage that my convertible is taking every day. You know, I'm a bald man, but yes, I might have skin cancer on the top of my head, but who cares, baby?
They can just shave that off, right?
Yeah, not a problem.
Not a problem.
Is there a specific reason why you called into the show other than to say you love LA?
No, I just heard that LA was being mentioned, and I wanted to call and tell Sam that I agree with him, and that if he ever wants to talk about LA on the podcast, I would love to be a guest.
Yes. Dude, some people love Los Angeles. I think I know who that guy is. That's the guy who skateboards down Venice Beach in a thong with an American flag hanging out of his butt. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was that dude.
How did you know that was me, Sam?
Yeah, I could tell how much you love America.
I love America, but you know what I love more?
What?
LA.
Yeah. Here's what I've learned about LA. LA is to the United States what the United States is to the rest of the world. In that they love us, but they hate our entitlement.
100%.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They love everything. You know, I mean, I don't know how they feel about entertainment now. It's getting a little weird out there, but they love LA. But then they think we're so entitled because we somewhat are. I mean, my mother called me yesterday. She is getting snow. She's getting snow in upstate
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah, in Kansas, whenever I talk to my mom all the time, she's just telling me like how bad the weather is like this time of year and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Do you
I
know-
used to live there. I get it.
Do you know when they said that the most people end up, the one factor that causes people to move to LA the most? If I hope I'm describing this correctly.
Yeah.
When people watch the Rose Bowl on television, they see how sunny it is.
Oh, how beautiful.
And they're like, why am I living in this shithole when I should be out there? And that's tons of people move after they watch the Rose Bowl. They end up moving to LA.
The Rose Bowl is a tipping point for people?
Well, because they see how sunny and weird it is. That's why we have
That's
to run
so
some
funny.
earthquake videos, do some wag the dog shit.
Earthquakes do scare a lot of people in the Midwest and
They
South.
scare
They're
me.
like- yeah.
They scare me.
I mean, yeah, who knows? At any moment, it could open up and
Could open up. There's so much crazy shit. Do you know that basically the United States is a giant super volcano?
I've heard it's ready to pop at any moment at different parts.
If it pops, everything's gone except for like Australia. And so many scientists send their kids to school in Australia because they just never know when it's going to pop.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Let's get into this next segment called Fanning Out.
Fanning out.
Fanning out. Questions from fans.
I reached out to the Twitterverse and Instagram and asked people if they could ask Sam Tripoli any question. What would it be?
Okay.
This is from our buddy at Rydoon on Twitter.
Oh,
Have you ever had sex at the Comedy Store?
I'm blessed that I've had sex almost everywhere in the Comedy Store except for the manager's office. Everywhere else, downstairs manager's office. Everywhere else, I banged in the. I mean, dude, I've wasted so much of my life just partying and banging chicks at the Comedy Store. I wouldn't trade it for $1 million. It was the best time ever because I'll never get that money back. But man, there were some great years. We'll just call them the Katie Manzella years. They were wonderful, and you know, those days will never come back. But I loved them. I loved it. In the sound booth in the main room while everyone's walking around, just banging.
You did it up there?
I loved it, dude.
Dude, I loved it.
It was so much fun.
That's awesome. Wow. That's crazy. At Chase Leopard on Twitter, how has doing the Tinfoil Hat podcast changed your worldview?
Oh, it's opened it up, man. It's like it's the most freeing thing I've ever done in my life. You know,
Would you explain it? Like it's kind of like, would you consider a conspiracy theory podcast?
It's spiritual skepticism of the official narrative, which sounds like hoity-toity, but it really isn't just conspiracies. We branch off into the spiritual and, you know, the political and everything. It's opened my mind, dude. It's opened my mind. It's the most freeing thing I've ever done. When you really know what's going on, or at least what you perceive is going on, it sets you free. Some people are like, you live in a scary world. I'm like, not really, man. It's much more freeing when you see, you know, why everybody watches the puppet shows, you know, conspiracy theorists, we watch the puppeteers. That's what we enjoy watching.
Yeah.
And who's pulling the strings and who's doing all that stuff. And it can go really dark, and some people don't want to hear it, especially people with children don't like to hear about conspiracies because it scares them too much. But it's freeing for me. It's the greatest thing ever. And, you know, the podcast is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, we're probably like the number 3 comedy conspiracy podcast out there.
And did you say how you like got kind of interested in that? Like,
well, the first conspiracy I ever really remember is when the Iron Sheik got busted with Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a car. And I was like, what the fuck is this? These guys are supposed to hate each other. These are pro wrestlers and they hate each other.
Yeah.
And they were busted drunk in a car. And that's when I always knew something was up. Then you start learning about JFK and all these things that go on forever. But really pushed me into doing this podcast was the 2016 election and the primaries, which I saw was just like the DNC was up to no good, and I was just watching this thing going on where you know, Bernie was playing like stadiums and Hillary Clinton was pulling like Sam Tripoli numbers on a gig, you know, like barely even filling a fucking lunchroom at a high school, right? And I'm like, well, how is this equating? It doesn't make any sense. So I just over time started watching, and then it's just like the thing about conspiracy theorists versus everybody else is, in my opinion, they keep score. Like, they don't forget. Most people move on to the next thing and don't remember what happened before, whereas we kind of keep score. And here's the thing. Over time, conspiracy theorists find they've proven to be right more than they are proven to be wrong. And you could always have these flat earth things and all that, which isn't my thing, but, you know, you always have these stuff. But in terms of, like, politics, people, how they operate, we tend to be more right than we are wrong.
Mm. Well, from at 1904 Cricket, will you ever pay up your bets without being a whiny baby about it? Please say no, because that's my favorite part of Punch Drunk.
Yes, everyone loves to see me go fucking nuts. They love, Ari has had a long game, played a long game, which is getting crazy. Here's the thing, dude. I'm never going to shove a hot dog up my ass. People are going to get angry. We're going to lose some people. I'm fine. I'd rather be known as a welcher for the rest of my life than a guy who shoved a fucking processed meat up his asshole. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to be like 65 and be like, hey, dude, you mind when you shove that fucking hot dog up your ass? I mean, the way people bring it up, I couldn't imagine if I did it, how it would haunt me for the rest of my life.
Even more like, hey, remember that time?
Yeah.
Hey, you're that hot dog
No
guy.
matter what I did. Mr. Tripoli, why do you want to run for president? Do you think it's okay for a president to shove the hot dog up his ass? I'm like, okay. It's just, I'd rather be the welcher. I'd much rather it. It just got too far, man. And we're screaming at each other like Jason Tebow. Like Jason was supposed to walk as a cross-dresser down Santa Monica Boulevard, but over time I'm like, I don't really have a problem with trans. I don't want to make fun. Their lives are hard enough, and we're just fucking mocking them at that point. So I don't want to do that anymore. I'm supposed to shock his neck or his nuts. I just don't want to do it anymore. It's just like 7 years in, you got to keep going crazier and crazier.
Dude,
or else it
it's
ends.
hard to out-top crazy things.
Yeah.
I mean, we go through, we have to find ways with Roast Battle for the Wave to try to outdo ourselves. And I'll tell you what, whenever I shaved my pubes on stage that first season of Roast Battle, like that's pretty up there as far as what you can get away with on network television.
Yeah.
It's still amazing that even got passed, that even got through the censors. But
Well, it is going to be interesting to see what happens because the FCC, right? Everything is community standards. But the internet's going so hard in the paint, it pushes stuff. I mean, like, dude, look at this. I grab her by the pussy. Porn, ABC having Stormy Daniels on. Like
it's crazy.
We live in a crazy time.
what is your worst fan encounter at Bax War 204?
Worst fan encounter?
Best or worst? It says.
I mean, my best fan encounter had to be my shooting of my special, filled with everybody that loves my comedy. It was the first time in my life I had a home game. You know, like
Yeah. They're specifically there just for you.
I packed the Viper Room. Nobody had done a special at the Viper Room, which was so weird because
Yeah.
it's the most perfect place for a special. You know, because it was it's like I go. So I do this gig. I do a gig over here at the W, and I put 200 people into a show. One night I go, okay, I can do this. I can put 100 people in 2 shows. I can get 100 people at a show. I could do this. And so that's when I planted the seed that I'm going to do. That I'm going to shoot my own special. So since the moment I moved to LA, I've wanted to shoot a special at the Viper Room. That was my goal. So thanks to the Comedy Store for letting me do shows at the Comedy Store in the main room. I'd accumulated money and my credit had gotten so good. I was able to incorporate, and I got a nice corporate card, which had I had a good balance on there. I could,
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm going to do it. I saw some people do it. They spent too much. My girlfriend, Dana Marshall, has been with me. She's been producing live concerts forever. She did Black Sabbath, Neil Diamond. She did Neil Diamond and Slayer in the same weekend at the Forum. Not the same weekend, but the same 7 days. She shot both of their concerts. So she was like,
Wow.
when you want to shoot, I'll shoot it. So I did it. I put it together. Now this other comic was supposed to do the date that I shot. And I'm like, someone's going to do it before me. And by the love of God, he drops out. He drops out because they wanted money up front. And I'm like, screw it. Whatever they want, I'm going to pay it. So we did it. I was just hoping I could get 100 people in the show. I ended up getting 140 per show. And it was the best thing ever. The worst, I've had crazy shit happen to me on stage. If you want to go look at this YouTube video, put in Biker versus San Diego Cop.
I'm already intrigued.
That biker heckles me at my show. And he's heckled me the whole time. And back in the day when I was a crazy person, I used to do something called Sexy Dance Competition. And so he wouldn't shut up. So I challenged him to a sexy dance competition on stage. And he comes up on stage and so I used to have this thing where I would flip a girl and I'd do reverse skull hump. I was an idiot back in the day, but it was something I would do. I would go big and home. Now I would get banned from clubs.
That was your closer, right?
Yeah. Now I'd be the face of Me Too if I did it now. But then it was a big close. Everybody loved it. I took this guy on. I beat him. He shakes my hand, and he's like prison shredded. Like old man and a wife beater, just where they just do that prison workout where they just throw cinder blocks, that whole workout.
Yeah.
So he brings his girlfriend on stage. They dance against me. I win. I get off stage. The staff runs up to me and goes, "You don't know who that is. That dude was just banned from the state of California for a year because he was in such shady. He's a hitman for for this biker gang. Okay, he got kicked out because they were trying to arrest him. They tased him. He wouldn't go down. He kept pouring vodka all over himself. So that was one time I got attacked. Another time, do you remember Angelo Bowers?
Oh, of course.
I took Angelo Bowers out on his first ever road gig. He's like, I've never done road before. I go, okay, let's go do a road gig. So I take him down to Dana Point. You ever been to Dana Point?
Yep, I remember that
Dana,
spot. Yeah.
For those who've never been to Dana Point, just know it's like this insanely amazing, this little beach town where like everybody's 9s and 10s. Like they eat the 4s and 5s. So I go do this gig and
Is it that pub?
Yeah, it's this pub, Hennessy's.
Hennessy's, yeah.
Angela's
Grant
doing
Cotter used to run a lot of shows there.
Angela's doing stand-up. This drunk hot chick is just heckling him the whole time. I go, if this chick heckles me, I'm gonna light her up. Because that's what I do. I sit in the back, I watch who's running mouth, and I just start loading the shotgun. Loading the shotgun. Dad,
Start picking the targets
yeah,
around her.
yeah. Just load him. Load.
The girl on her cell phone.
Yeah. So I'm up there. I'm doing stand up, and she starts heckling me, and we start going back at it. Well, I mean, dude, when I tell you she's like one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen in my life, I'm not even lying, dude. She's like an LA 11. So she's heckling me. She starts walking up. She starts, this gets dirty though, but she starts acting like she's gonna move me. I go, lady, don't let your ass write a check you can't cash. She goes, oh, you don't think I do it? I go, I know you won't do it. She goes, you don't think I do? I go, I know you won't. She goes, lay down. I go, what? She goes, I'm going to sit on your face. I go, what are you talking about? And right now, every camera came out. And like an idiot, I tell them not to film it.
Yeah.
Because if they would have filmed it, I would have been a legend by now. I'd probably banned at every club at first, but then I would sell out everywhere else.
Yeah.
This chick takes her pants off and sits on my face. And why everybody's cheering. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? I didn't think this was going to happen. She called me on chicken and she fucking won. She gets up. I'm like, okay. Out of nowhere, this Mexican lesbian midget, this tiny Mexican lesbian, jumps on stage and starts wailing the shit out of me, dude. Starts going fucking nuts on me. Like, because she was with her. Like, I think she was into her,
Wow.
Because this girl had just broken up with her girlfriend, so she was like a lipstick lesbian.
Yeah.
So she starts going crazy on me. Out of nowhere, this girl's friend jumps up and grabs me and goes, don't be a hero, motherfucker. I go, what? He goes, fucking shut the fuck up. He grabs me, starts punching me in the face, right? I can't stop. I'm still having the microphone, dude, and I'm doing play-by-play of us fighting. Why this guy's punching me in the face? I'm doing play-by-play. I'm like, you hit like a little bitch, man. And everyone breaks it up. I'm not lying to you. When I got off stage, I was surrounded by the most gorgeous chicks all staring at me like I was like a filet mignon. It was the most amazing night of my life. And I've had so many crazy nights like that. Just like I used to be crazy, dude. And I loved it. I loved it. I was trying to set a high score in a game nobody else was playing.
Dude, that's oh my goodness. I think the Mexican lesbian little person is calling in right now about that fight. I think she's recalling that fight right now.
Hey, puto! Puto! You ain't got shit, puto! I want home with her shit, my girlfriend now! I fucking kill you!
Were you upset that your girlfriend sat on Sam's face?
Yeah! He hit the butt, not cool!
Wait, did Sam like start going to town with his mouth whenever?
Dude, what do you want me to do? It's either fight or flight at that point. I have to stay in the pocket, dude. It's either kill or be killed.
Yeah, you stupid asshole! She loves me! I kick your ass!
And what about your gay friend? How come he jumped me too?
Because he's my friend. You got gay bash, homeboy. You got beat up by a gay guy and a lesbian. You got gay bash, homeboy.
Dude, this is just, how did you get this number? Why are you fucking
I'm
talking?
surprised he's a fan of Jeremiah Wonders, you know?
Oh, I love the show. It's so good. He asks all the good questions.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Go Dodgers!
Lesbians
Oh
love
my
that.
goodness.
Do you remember when the Lakers won the championship on the same day as Gay Pride? I was like,
yeah.
that was the happiest day in gay Mexicans' lives ever in Los Angeles.
Yeah, those two things.
Yeah, doubled up.
Coming together
Go
miraculously. This is from @heavy_steps. You definitely need to get Sam to talk about his sex addiction and crazy fetishes.
I have a lot of them, dude. I like big teeth. I like chicks who are slightly cross-eyed.
You know what? Stop.
I've been peed on. I like that.
The first two, right out of the gate. I like big teeth. I like girls that are slightly cross.
I like being called the N-word in
Wait,
bed.
how
I like all that.
how did these fetishes come about?
You know, it's very interesting because I think about like who you tend to be attracted to what you grow up around.
Sure.
I like Amazon chicks, big chicks. I like women who are slightly cross-eyed, big teeth. That's a lot of upstate New York right there.
Right.
It's a lot of 607. That's a lot of it.
So yeah, you just
I
started
just
getting
think it's
attracted
hot when
to
they're
it.
slightly just a little bit cross. I don't know why. I think it's hot and big teeth. Now I was in Edmonton and this chick came up. She had the biggest teeth. She was super hot, was slightly cross-eyed, and I melted. I love it. I've been called the N-word in bed. I got attracted to that for a while just because this crazy Mexican I was banging dropped an N-bomb on me, and I just got hooked on it for a while, which is a weird thing to ask other chicks to do. That gets weird. What else am I into?
I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, some of them are like, no.
Absolutely not.
Yes, they won't do it. Some of them just say it a little too quick. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa.
you're like, whoa, okay,
Pump-
you were looking for an excuse.
Yeah.
Good grief.
What are you doing there? Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Where are we driving to the Klan rally? So it's interesting. I just like weird shit.
Daddy, I found the man of my dreams tonight.
Yeah, I'm totally into it, man. I couldn't imagine.
He lets me call him the N-word.
What do you think, like, guys who get tons like Chris D'Elia, what do you think? He's got to be in the weird shit, right? Like, when you get so much premium, like, top shelf, like,
Top cut, prime cut,
you're right?
the strips of sirloin.
Dude,
Grade
I love
A.
that guy. Back in the day when he'd get off stage and they would present him, I was like, you know, if you can't be the man, fucking respect the man.
I don't know, like, if at that point, if you're having so much sex that do you get in a place where you're like nines to you are just like, oh, whatever. Like, it's
gotta
not doing
be,
anything for me.
dude.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like you get so much of stimulation, like, from different people.
It's gotta be, dude. It's gotta be. You've just
Do you
gotta.
think every once in a while, Chris will bring back like a beast?
Oh, well.
Just to cleanse the palate. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Just because he's so used to getting
Yeah.
like all these hot girls. Do you think like every once in a while he just like brings it like, Chris, I'm a huge fan of
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah. There's a famous story about what's his face from Kiss. Who's the guy?
Gene Simmons? Or?
Yeah, about like he was just banging these like superstars, and then he got a call. And then one day, some people saw him with let's say not a 9 or a 10, and he's like, "Dude, you can't eat filet mignon every night. Occasionally, you got to have a Big Mac." You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Now back in Vegas when I was really young, I would hook up with big chicks. Well, when I'm from big chick town, but it's like I called them slump busters, right? Because women could see it in your eyes when you haven't been laid in a while and you got the wildling in your eyes,
you got
right?
that little bit.
Yeah. Guys get creepy. You ever notice that guys get creepy when they don't get laid, and women get angry? Like women get really angry.
Interesting.
When they haven't gotten some quality in a while, they get really weird. But girls can see, so you have to do slump busters. Now, I'm convinced that these young guys in Hollywood, their new slump busters are trans.
Oh.
Because these are the kids who are growing up with the phone and the porn on their phone. I think it's all just blending at this point.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
I've been-
Break off a little piece of.
I think now being gay is the new punk rock. Because we did this one show, and just like every comic went up almost going like, yeah, I've done some gay shit. And they're like, whoa, I'm not. You're like, dude, yeah, I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm like, just the last 3 guys all admitted that they like Leela sat with mentioned they watch gay porn. Another dude said he had a.
Guess what? I freaking do it, dude.
Yeah, bro, I don't play by your
Dude,
rules.
I don't care if I watch gay porn all day and then jerk it and then go out at night and then present myself to women? Because that's who I freaking am, dude.
Yeah, that's the new punk rock. That's not playing
That's
by the
funny.
rules. That's like telling your dad, yeah, Dad.
Hey, Dad, guess what? I sucked a dick earlier. And guess what? I'm freaking married, dude.
Yeah, that's completely it. That's completely
Dad's like,
it.
well, wait, son, why are you telling me this? Because I freaking can. Welcome to 2018.
Yeah, dude. Dude, last night I had Brent Weinbach in my show. Dude, have you ever watched that guy?
Oh, yeah, I love Brent.
Oh, dude, his bit about his son coming out of the closet.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so funny.
I love-
more for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
More for me?
You too. He's so funny, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's great. This is a fun question. This is from @Paul Giwo Truba. If you could learn the absolute truth about one conspiracy theory, what would it be? Love you guys.
I mean, do you want to keep it funny or do you want to keep it like real? I mean, like,
Well,
Trump
I
has
guess
a time machine. That's what people believe. He has some kind of time machine. That his uncle was close with Nikolai Tesla, and when Nikolai Tesla died, his uncle went in and grabbed all of his documents for his experiments and stuff like that. And they believe that like his uncle invented a time machine, and that's why Trump knows everything. And there was a book that was written in like 1880s called Little Baron Trump. It's called. It was a book that was written then. If you look it up, the kid looks on the cover looks exactly like Trump. He's almost got a fidget spinner in his hand, and it's the story of the kid who was the son of the last president. It's like this crazy ass shit. There's all this stuff.
What do you think about the Simpsons predictions on all of that stuff? Have you looked at any of those videos? Like the Trump video?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It is eerie and it's crazy, but if you're writing a billion episodes,
You're gonna get lucky, you think?
you're gonna. I mean, like it's like what if you list 20 times they predicted the future out of like what 50 or 5,000 episodes. Like that's still crazy. And now I'm not saying it's not still insane, but it's like if you're always trying to put all this mixing shit together, it could be interesting. I believe it. Listen, dude, the whole notion that there is no such thing as time, there's no before, there's no after, everything's happening at one. We literally have right now, and there's no past, there's no present, there's no nothing. It's right now. So I could see, and there's also the theory that like time is like a book, and it's just pages, and therefore it's like. It wouldn't be that hard to travel time. You just got to get to the next page. It's some interesting shit. There's some dark shit out there like Pedogate. I'd like to know if that's real. I know it is, but I'd like proof of it.
Interesting. Yeah. There's definitely some dark rabbit hole conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I mean, there's just people who want power and they'll do anything to keep it.
Final question, then we'll go into the final segment. At John Mon Jardin, what was the most important step that you took to stop doing cocaine, and when was the last time you did it?
I haven't done coke, and I can't even remember the last time I did coke. You know, I did weed a little while ago. I did shrooms during the World Series. I did shrooms at the World Series, but besides that, I'm not doing anything anymore. I don't remember the last time I did coke. The beauty is just like, I just got myself into a place where I was surrounded by people, and I was just like, now what I do is, cause my brain gets a little crazy and I want to go out and I want to do all this shit. I now listen to, 12-step speeches on my phone through Bluetooth while I drive around, and it kind of gets me out of my head.
Yeah.
But I mean, go get help, man. It's like, go get that. Like, the worst thing is to I don't know what's worse, being a crash and burn drunk or a functioning drunk or drug addict. Being able to keep it going while keep it together while you keep going. That is even worse, in my opinion. But it's a much better world when you're sober, man. It's just easier. I'm just not a guy who can party. I don't like weed.
Whenever you were doing coke, did you ever get into like, were you like super into like the club scene, like where you'd go out and like go super late?
Dude, the Comedy Store was coked to the to the brim, dude. I mean, there was so much cocaine at the Comedy Store, and that's what everybody was doing.
Is that ever hard? Do you ever think about like before? Because I'm sure you do it before sets, before going on stage.
Yeah, and and that was the worst part. I was so mediocre on stage. That's what killed the most.
It affects like just everything.
Your mind.
Yeah,
you can't think.
Oh,
You know, it's like
so what do you start like kind of repeating yourself and
Yeah,
just
and
like,
you're like,
you
what
never
is-
like get to the meat of where you're supposed to be going kind of thing?
yeah, and you realizing you're fucking up, and it's just
I don't know.
vicious
I don't know how
circle.
guys like Robin Williams could do coke and stuff and be that clear, and you know what I mean, and be improvising, going crazy, and like he's like pouring sweat and just like going 1,000 miles an hour.
That one set, he's so coked out of his skull. Like when he's sweating at Rockefeller Center. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen that? Like that is coked out of your skull. I don't know, man. You know, with the passing of Mitzi, they came from a different generation. Like everybody was, I mean, look at all the people we lost, like Parkinson's, and they were just all doing coke by the fucking ice cream scoops. And it was just like, you can't short circuit your brain like that for that long, that often. It's, you know, it sucks. We're losing that generation. There's not a lot of them left.
It's true. It's true.
You know, it's crazy.
Hello, Sam.
Hello.
I heard you talking about some different conspiracy theories. You know, with a tinfoil hat podcast, you reach out to a lot of alien life forms.
Fuck yeah.
Me being one of them.
Are you Anunnaki?
I'm Anunnaki.
Are you guys coming? I know we found your planet.
We will be coming very soon.
Planet X, how is it?
It's very nice this time of year.
Is it summer out there?
Oh, you know it, Sam.
What do Anunnaki like to do for summer?
Butt stuff.
Butt stuff. That sounds
All
like
summer long.
so much probing.
So much anal probing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But then we take off the Wednesday and then go away once again on Thursday.
Are you guys created human beings from monkeys? Are you proud of what we've become?
Oh, absolutely not.
How have we let you down?
In so many gosh darn ways.
Thank you for not swearing.
Oh, I am a higher power being. I do not think the swear words are that evolved.
Oh, so Anunnaki were clean?
Oh, I always work clean as an Anunnaki.
I love that, dude. What would you change about us if you could?
Well, all of you are so concerned with sex, drugs, and fame. I mean, how about being better people starting off of there?
Oh, I love that, dude. I love that a lot. I think we should do that. I think who's someone we
That's
should.
why I said it.
Okay, that's true. Who do you think we should? What's a great example of a human being we should follow?
Oh, there are so many out there, but all of them have flaws and secrets and darkness around them if you start digging too far. But at the surface level, there's handfuls of amazing historical figures out there.
I love it, dude. I love it. I'm so glad you're a god.
Me too. See you soon, Sam.
Love you, buddy. Thank you, Anunnaki guy.
Man, Anunnaki, he just knew right when to call into the show.
They get it.
Like, I didn't even hear a ring. I think he patched himself in, but he is a god, so I mean.
He is. They are the gods. They created us. They splice us with the monkeys, and we left the caves with wheels and all tools, and that's where we are now.
This brings us to our final segment, Sax Talk. Oh, Sax Talk.
Sax talk.
All right, Sam. So basically, I am going to play some sweet, sweet saxophone underneath while you tell a story of a sexual encounter.
There I was. It was about 2004. Or as you kids call it, back in the day. I was playing Beecher's Madhouse at the Hard Rock Casino. Beecher's Madhouse was considered the greatest hell gig ever because it was 10 minutes of just chaos you had to go through to make about $1,500. And I mostly break down all my gigs down to sex workers money, right? If you make $5, that's crackhead money, crack whore money. If you make $1,500 for 10 minutes, that's high-end escort money. So I did my show, and I got done. And now after the show, everybody's high-fiving you. But none of the ladies are getting into this. Nobody want anybody. So I go down to the nightclub at the Hard Rock. It was downstairs. And for about 3 hours, I'm just walking around and nobody's saying anything. Nothing at all. So I'm just walking around. I walk around. So now it's about 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, nothing. I can't believe this. I had such a great set. I got a standing O. Not going to get any action. This sucks. So I'm about to do the walk home. I'm about to leave the club when out of nowhere, this incredibly drunk hot chick comes up to me and goes, "Hey, are you the guy in the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she then says the most three magical sentences I've ever heard in my life. One, "You were so funny." "I'm so drunk. I can't find my friends." Boom. So we hung out all night. We started hanging out. We were making out, and we were boom. We went back to my place, and I just knocked the bottom out of it. Then I gave her the classic Tripoli good morning bone to wake you up. It's like a cup of coffee for the ladies. Hello. Rise and shine, sunshine. It's time to go. And that was one of my greatest stories of never giving up. Always believe in yourself. If there's time on the clock, take the shot. Yeah.
See, guys, if you believe in yourself and you put yourself out there for long enough,
Just
anything
believe in
can
yourself,
happen.
dude. That's all. That's like my album. Just believe in yourself, dude. Just believe in yourself.
Oh man, so Sam just showed me the marquee at the Comedy Store that just got posted. It says, "Good night, our godmother. We will love you forever."
Oh man, so rough.
Well, full circle with the Mitzi memories on this podcast, dude. I loved having you on. We had a conspiracy theorist call in. We had Cokehead Sam.
Aliens. We had aliens.
Elliot, your former
The guy
improviser friend who has to yes and everything.
Yes.
A lot of highlights, dude.
Yes. So much good stuff.
Now
so
you
much
got
good.
Punch Drunk Tinfoil Podcast. Sam Tripoli, you've got a new special coming out. Oh man, he showed me another marquee picture.
They did on the big marquee
on the
too.
big, the main.
I wonder
one
if the
too.
other comedy clubs will do it. I think they will.
I mean, they'd be wise if they did. But where else can people find you, my friend?
At Sam Tripoli. My YouTube page is starting to grow.
Oh yeah, it's popping, dude.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm almost at 15,000. Goal is 30,000. And you can just go youtube.com/Sam Tripoli or youtube.com/Punch Drunk Sports.
Heck yeah, brother. Thank you so
Thanks
much for having
I'm loving watching you work hard, and you just keep rising. And you know, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Just no matter how crazy it gets, no matter who around you pops and blows up, just know it's going to happen. To what degree, who will know? But you will work, and you will make, you at the end of the day will be very happy with what you did.
Love you, bro. Thanks so
Love
much
you
for being
too,
on the
bro.
podcast.
Jeremiah Wonders, Jeremiah Wonders, Jeremiah Wonders.